Initiating podcast download. Prepare yourself. Put on your spandex. Lace up your boots. Wrap your wrists. Hide your razor blade. Head to gorilla position. Grease up your hair. Apply baby oil. Okay, apply more baby oil. Get into gimmick. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Have fun and be safe out there, brother. Welcome to I'm on Wrestling. Now your host, Gregory Iron.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. This is episode 104, and we have a great show for you today. In the house, we are going to have Bobby Beverly, the Bev, member of 440, longtime friend of mine, helped train him, and we are going to have a nice, candid conversation about life, pro wrestling, what he's been up to, his recent ascent on the independent wrestling scene, and a variety of other things. And it's going to be a great conversation. You're going to learn a lot about Bobby Beverly that I don't think you expected to learn about him. Just who is the Bev exactly? All right.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it seems as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday.
Pardon the interruption.
Uh-huh.
Aaron Bauer's in the house.
Good to see you. How are you?
To see you. I'm all right.
Are you excited about our guest today?
Very excited.
Bobby Beverly's a good man.
The
I'm
best.
glad I got to talk with him for over an hour. Are you getting a phone call right now? How unprofessional of you.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Jesus. Talked with the Bev for over an hour, and it's a good conversation that we're going to get to later. But before we do that, you got anything you want to talk about? What's up?
No, nothing.
How you feeling?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
Positive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we started to record today, I had Aaron watch with me the most recent edition of Dark Side of the Ring, because he's a little bit behind.
Yeah.
You watched the Brian Pillman one, correct?
Right.
What'd you
That
think
was
of that
two-parter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy
Yeah, I
that?
really liked it. Especially because we had Junior
We did.
on the podcast
Yep.
not too long ago.
Episode 100.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that one. It was a good episode. Good interview with Brian. But,
Hey,
what?
let me put this out there real quick.
Sure.
Okay, I don't know how I completely feel about the Varsity Blondes.
Oh. Why's that?
I just hard for me to get behind some dudes in their mid-20s wearing high school jackets.
I mean, what about the Steiners wearing
They were
college jackets?
Yeah, and they were in
In
their
their 30s.
yeah. Well, they were just removed from there, and it's college. College is different than high school. Like I never understood. People would graduate high school and they get a ring to show that they graduated. Like, come on, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't one that was crazy about high school, and I would have never purchased the high school ring. Also, I can't think of one person, like years after high school, that would walk around with their high school ring. What a waste of money.
See, so this is kind of why, yeah. But here's what I would love to see with the Varsity Blondes. I'd like these dudes, Brian and Griff. I would like them to be every week would be it would feature some kind of a ripoff of either Saved by the Bell or Beverly Hills 90210, one of the storylines.
I mean, I'll get behind that.
Okay,
I
and
like
then
both
wait,
shows.
so like Brian and Griff would be like Zach and Slater, and they're and this includes them fighting over the head cheerleader, Julia Hart.
So they're very delusional, and they act like they're high school.
Yeah, I'm all in on that angle. I just don't like, we're mid-20-year-olds and we're wearing these jackets that we
Maybe
had
I guess
10
maybe
years ago.
maybe there could be a little bit more depth to it, like they can't get over, much like Al Bundy.
Yeah.
Like his best years were in high
Yes,
school.
yes.
Like they can't move past those high school days. I can
Right.
get behind something like that.
Yep, I'm all in on that, man. I would love for them, and I'd love for them to be like heels.
Well, yeah, I feel like those are definitely heel characters.
Yeah.
But this isn't about Pillman. We just watched the Dark Side of the Ring on Collision in Korea. When I told you that they just had a Dark Side of the Ring on Collision in Korea,
It blew my mind.
Yeah, why did you react that way?
I didn't ever think that there was anything. I just thought it was a shitty pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, the pay-per-view was not that good. I think it was in an edited form because the event actually took place over 2 nights on April 28th and 29th in 1995. But it didn't air in North America until August of 1995, and then they released it on home video after the fact. It was a co-promotion between New Japan and WCW, of course. But Collision in Korea, I guess I also forgot, even though not too long ago I think Eric Bischoff did a podcast on it, that there was a bit of controversy during that event. I mean, it was really surrounded by political controversy, which they went in depth on during this episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
I think this was one of my favorite episodes of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
Because I kind of knew all the other stories I had watched.
Sure.
Everybody knows the Owen Hart story and the Chris Benoit story, and I lived the New Jack story. So,
You did.
I kind of knew things, how everything, pans out. I had no idea that there was any controversy with this North Korean show.
Seems like a scary situation. If you didn't watch this episode, you definitely should. But basically, this is all over political leverage. There's trying to be this peace festival created by Antonio Inoki, and he's doing it in hopes of getting reelected. This is going to help his political campaign over in Japan, and I guess create some sort of peace between North Korea and Japan, which has been a long-standing rivalry.
Let's create peace by putting on a show where people are fighting.
Listen, is it the most logical thing? Maybe not. But also, no one, as they find out once they get there, no one in North Korea understands the concept of pro wrestling because everything is surrounded in propaganda, and they don't get. I don't think they get any entertainment. I mean, as they talked about on the episode, when you go to watch TV, there's only a few channels, and they're all political channels.
Mm-hmm.
So having professional wrestling, this predetermined fight, is probably something that sort of confused them.
Yeah, it's, to a lesser extent, it reminded me of when we did the prison tour shows.
How so?
The prison show tours.
How so?
Because they weren't getting any entertainment.
True.
And then they were offered wrestling, which was, they loved it. Every show we did, people were hot for it.
Yeah, I think
this Collision in Korea didn't seem like it was that way
No.
until the end, but people know that when they watch it, their minds were blown, I'm sure.
Yeah. I feel like the prison show was different. There were scary situations.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what prison we went to, like when we had to walk through the actual prison with the prisoners,
Yep.
like surrounding us and stuff.
Yeah, cat calling.
Yeah, like surrounded by
Ooh, they
armed
love them some
guards.
Bev.
They did love the Bevs.
They love them some M-Dog, too.
Yeah.
And M-Dog, I know I've said this before, but he was great because, well, he was funny at first because we were walking through and he said, "I'm standing next to you." Like, he was nervous, and I think he was going to throw me in the way in case somebody attacked us.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Like, I had already been a guard in a prison, so like I wasn't as maybe as worried about it as most of the other talent was.
Right.
And but then M-Dog, we got downstairs to the locker room in the gym, and M-Dog was looking around, and he just got on his piece of workout equipment, and he started doing like dips.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, I could do time."
He could not do time.
He's like, "I could definitely see myself doing time."
No.
All I would do is just work out all day, and then eat 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And that's I would love that life.
I feel like you would not enjoy it. I think
he had a hard time.
I think he forgot what else entails going to prison.
Yeah.
But
Maybe he was looking forward to that too.
yeah, I guess. Collision in Korea ended up being the largest attended wrestling event of all time.
So that was true, huh?
Yeah, the first day they have the record for the second largest audience of all time, which was 165,000. And then the second day holds the attendance record for the largest attendance record of all time, 190,000. But here's the thing. You're probably thinking, wow, I did not realize that North Korea had so many wrestling fans. Well, as I just sort of alluded to, no one understands the concept of wrestling. So basically, these people are forced to go to these events, or else nothing major happens to them. They just get shot in the head and killed. So that's why they have these become the largest attended wrestling events of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting scenario there. Also, I found interesting, which I guess I forgot about, that Eric Bischoff convinced Muhammad Ali to come along on this tour. And from all accounts, from what we see in the 45-minute documentary by Dark Side of the Ring, I feel like perhaps maybe they didn't mistreat Muhammad Ali the way they mistreated the wrestlers.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali, he was very well respected everywhere, though. Yeah,
true. Very true. And part of this deal was North Korea wanted big celebrities involved, one of which that they pitched that they wanted was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
That never came to fruition.
Never did.
And probably because no one had connections with Michael Jackson. Can you imagine, though?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Can you only imagine if they would have had Collision in Korea featuring Michael Jackson, what that would have looked like? If they didn't understand what pro wrestling was,
right?
I can't imagine North Koreans could understand, even fathom, Michael Jackson and his music.
Could you just think about it right now? The show begins, and the lights come on, and it's Michael Jackson in the ring, or just a spotlight on Michael Jackson in the ring, and he begins singing the National Anthem.
Yeah.
Proud to be an American by Lee Greenwood.
Yes, that is the
he
National
does a cover
Anthem.
of that, and then he sings it and goes right into Beat It, and what's another one? Maybe a little Billie Jean, some Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Bad.
Black or White.
Ah, yeah.
I think that'd be good.
That'd be the perfect
festival.
piece. Yes.
There you go.
So he goes in and does that, and then you get your first match, your opener, Scorpio and Benoit. So you get Benoit on the show. You've got Michael Jackson on the show.
Yeah.
Just the whole show, like just good people.
Okay. Very controversial statement. But speaking of controversy, I mean, this is, covered in controversy. One of the most controversial things talked about in the episode was something that I already knew about from shoot interviews. It's the confrontation between Hawk and One Too Cold Scorpio. And I never got the opportunity to do a show with Hawk, but I've done several shows with Too Cold Scorpio. And even though, I don't know why I'm saying even though, Scorpio stands his ground in the documentary, and there is a quite the confrontation with him and Hawk that leads to Scorpio potentially trying to kill Hawk at some point and creating a shank. One thing that I thought about right away when watching that wasn't necessarily the potentially murderous scenario, but more so is that I think Scorpio, and I think you'll agree with me, is probably one of the more overlooked high flyers of all time.
He's my favorite of all time.
Yeah?
Yep.
He's incredible.
Favorite high flyer.
Just from the clips that they show briefly in the documentary, it's like, fuck, man. I always forget about how great Scorp was.
I never do. That was my guy, man. And I thought he'd have been great as the cruiserweight champion, but the man was 280 pounds, working like a cruiserweight, though. And making it look better than anyone else has ever made it look, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I always thought he was the smoothest, man.
Yeah.
No one's better than Too Cold.
He was great, and I've always enjoyed doing shows with him. Last show I was on with him was last year in Colorado. I think it was before the pandemic started, and we had some nice conversations over a couple days.
Yeah.
And I almost got him for the podcast, but it didn't work out because we didn't have the time. But my favorite part was him remembering me from Cleveland, and then he ended up saying to me, "Oh yeah, I worked Big Country that night," and I said, "Yeah, you worked Big Country," because that was his nickname for some reason for Ricky Shane Page.
Yeah,
as he was calling the match to him, he just kept calling him Big Country.
Yeah,
and to this
Ricky
day,
looks like a guy that would be named Big Country.
Yes, man, but like he doesn't have a country accent or anything, so I don't know where he came up with Big Country.
Wasn't there a Big Country in WCW? No, Big Sky?
The Native American character, right?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Big Country. It might have been a guy named Big Country. You gonna look it up?
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking this guy maybe worked with. Oh gosh, let me think. I think his name was Big Country, and him and Mr. Hughes were a tag team.
Let's see. What comes up is a man named Big Country that debuted in 1997.
No.
And it just says
this was before.
An American professional wrestler.
No. Who teamed with Mr. Hughes? Or maybe Mr. Hughes was Big Cat.
He was the Big Cat.
The Big Cat and Big Sky? Oh, man, this is messing with me, dude. They worked a Clash of the Champions, I believe.
Okay.
I'm looking.
I do remember Big Sky, though, now that you mention him. He was the guy that played Sabretooth in the X-Men, I believe. Or he played someone in the X-Men films. But, yeah, he had his cup of coffee in pro wrestling. But, yeah, it was Sabretooth. I'm looking up now. But, yeah, I don't remember a Big Country in pro wrestling. I feel like you're wrong on this one.
I'm not wrong.
I think you are.
I think your face is wrong.
Okay, well, moving on. Overall, Collision Korea, very scary situation. Luckily, everyone got out there alive, and no one got a reaction on the show, by the way, until the main event between Ric Flair and Antonio Inoki. Overall, what did you think about the Collision in Korea experience?
That sounds scary to me.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have wanted to been part of it.
No. Also,
but it seems like one of those events that, now you got a story forever.
For sure. Did you have any interaction with Scott Norton when he did AIW?
No, I don't even remember him.
You don't remember him being there?
No.
I don't remember who he worked, but he was definitely there because I had a nice little conversation with him. And
I think I was out of wrestling by then.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe you weren't there, but I had a talk with him, and then I took a picture with him pretending like I was arm wrestling him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever read Jericho's book, he talks about how he tried to get the arm wrestling technique secret out of Scott Norton. He wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
Because obviously he appeared in the film Over the Top as well. And
who did?
Scott Norton.
He was in Over the Top?
Yeah, with Sly.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep, he's in the film. And so after I took a picture with him, pretending like I was arm wrestling, I said,
what?
I don't suppose
Where's this picture?
I'll post it on the social media.
Sweet.
I said to him, I don't suppose you can give me the arm wrestling secret. He looks at me with a straight face. He goes, absolutely not. And I said, okay. Well, I tried. So Yeah, Collision Korea. If you didn't watch the documentary from Dark Side of the Ring, you should go watch that one. And if you haven't watched the show, I do believe that the entire event is available on the YouTube free of charge because it's one of the only events that was never uploaded to the WWE Network. I think that also includes the WCW pay-per-view towards the end of WCW's run in 2000 that was from like either the UK or Australia. I can't remember. Those were like two of the events that were never uploaded. I think that also includes the AAA event. What was that called? 94?
Oh, Collision. Wait.
No,
No.
When Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like the three events that were never uploaded. I could be forgetting something else, but anyways, something else you wanted to talk about, and I don't know how deep we're going to get here because it was a ridiculous scenario that you brought up. You wanted to talk about the chicken sandwich wars that are apparently currently happening throughout the world, and I did not realize this was a thing.
Yeah, then you told me I was a liar.
I didn't say you were a liar.
What are you doing?
I asked you what you wanted to talk about today. I'm assuming like maybe something sort of related to pro wrestling.
Yeah. You're going to keep finding out as the weeks go on that I like wrestling less and less.
Yeah.
Because I tried to watch something last week. What was it, Raw or something? Oh, I just couldn't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult. I do like some AEW now, though.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that. You like AEW?
I enjoy AEW.
Yeah. Huh. Hard for me to watch WWE. That's sad, too.
SmackDown has been bad lately.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Roman Reigns and the Usos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what were we going to talk about?
The chicken sandwich war of 2021.
Yeah, well, because it fits in to the podcast because, there was a Monday Night Wars and now there's a chicken sandwich wars.
I feel like that's not the same thing at all. That'd be like if I said this week we're talking about World War II because there was an event called World War III promoted by WCW.
I'm just thinking we should review the chicken sandwiches in this war.
I don't know if I want to, but
Why not?
what details can you tell me on this chicken sandwich war?
It's getting crazy, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other details?
It's crazy. Chicken sandwiches are getting bigger, juicier, more hand-breaded.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Look,
You don't like that?
I don't go out of my way to eat a lot of chicken sandwiches.
Yeah? Why not? Too fatty or carby for you?
I don't know.
Or do you just not like chicken?
I love chicken. I eat it often. I'm going to
Yeah, I
eat
was
chicken
gonna
in a
say.
little bit.
Uh-huh.
But the chicken sandwiches, it's not something I like to order when I go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like Sheetz has a good grilled chicken sandwich that I know of.
Grilled, yeah. I don't mind their grilled.
When we went to Popeyes to try their chicken sandwich,
Yeah, you weren't that thrilled.
it was okay. I wasn't blown away with it by like most people. I'm trying to think. There's like a waffle and chicken sandwich currently available at Sheetz
Yeah.
that I enjoy.
Oh, you've eaten it.
I've eaten it
Yeah.
only because Alley Cat DM'd me specifically, even though she hates Sheetz supposedly, and she said, "Hey, you've got to try this waffle and chicken sandwich at Sheetz. It's new to the item. I think it's like a Texas waffle and chicken sandwich. So maybe perhaps
Probably Nashville.
yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Nashville. Okay.
Yeah, that's hot.
And so I was like, sure, yeah, I'll try it, and it was okay. Well, nothing to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of really any other chicken sandwich that I'm really blown away by. Nothing pops to the mind. I think, again, this goes back to the grilled chicken sandwich. I think KFC came out with one for a while that was really cheap. That was okay. That I was a fan of. But again, I'm just, I don't know, maybe I'm just not hip to this war. Who's in the top running here for the grilled chicken sandwich war?
Well, it started off initially with Chick-fil-A was the king of the mountain.
Okay.
And then
I can see that.
Popeyes was getting ready to release their chicken sandwich.
Sure.
And we all know that that's blown up in a big way. But I think it only blew up because Chick-fil-A fired the first shot. They said, you can try to come out with a chicken sandwich, but you're nothing like the original.
Right.
And people started eating Popeyes, and they were like, oh, no, this is better.
Mm.
And they have a spicy version. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
So then Wendy's came out with a new chicken sandwich.
Do you like
McDonald's
Wendy's?
I love Wendy's.
Wendy's nuts hit your chin. Okay.
My grandma just died.
All right. Well, that is a real thing that happened, and you definitely
Wow.
you definitely made this feel really weird.
And how weird do you think I feel right now?
Oh boy.
I wanted to talk about something serious, and here you are doing these Wendy's jokes. Outdated Wendy's jokes.
All right,
Oh,
well,
boy.
You can go wherever you want with this conversation now, because I'm just gonna let you take
McDonald's?
the reins here. Okay.
You know who came out with one recently?
Who's that?
Burger King. They've got a good chicken sandwich.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's hand-breaded. It's new. It's crispy. It's juicy. There's some big, thick pickles on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's really going to be only one way for someone to get the real advantage in this chicken sandwich war.
Mm-hmm.
The first person to get Lex Luger on board
Yeah.
to eat their sandwich
Yeah.
on camera,
Uh-huh.
unexpectedly, I think that's going to be the people that are going to cruise ahead in this war, and maybe they'll have a victory for like 83 weeks in a row as far as having the top drawing chicken sandwich.
I would love that.
Would you?
Yeah. Luger it's like a Popeyes commercial.
Yeah, Luger just sitting in his wheelchair eating a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Luger, how about him, man? He's made a comeback of sorts.
Has he?
Yeah, like not, like in the ring or anything, but a comeback as far as like people like him now, and he seems like he's got a good personality.
Well, I don't know if the majority of people disliked him. There's just this false narrative out there that he murdered Miss Elizabeth. Like, they just did that atrocious Macho Man documentary, which we sort of talked about last week. Only on Patreon, we talked about it in the extended version of the podcast, which, by the way, you can get all the extended versions of the show and the bonus episodes over on Patreon for just $3. There's over 100 episodes. Plus, if you go higher and higher up in the rankings, you can get bonus videos. You can be involved in our Zoom call. You can pick bonus podcast subjects. You can get stuff in the mail from us. There's a variety of tiers that you can look into. Support the show. It's the best way. Patreon.com/Iron and Wrestling. But that Macho Man documentary, my dad watched it. And, of course, my dad, who claims he does not like wrestling,
Yeah.
but for some reason, when I went over his house last week for his birthday, which we'll talk about in a little bit, he turns on AEW, okay, because it was Wednesday. And I said, why are we watching this? And he goes, there's nothing else on. I'm like, okay, over 200 channels, can't find anything else. And then he starts talking about the Macho Man documentary. He's just like, oh, yeah, that Lex Luger murdered Miss Elizabeth, huh? And I was just like, okay, that's not what happened at all. And, they talked about it in the documentary.
Yeah.
They never said that he did, but there's this narrative out there that Luger killed Elizabeth because they did drugs together.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. So I think it's all been falsified and exaggerated information about Luger. So I never stopped liking Lex Luger. And as we've talked about in the past,
I just meant that people thought he was a jerk. Like, I remember always hearing that, like, in the sheets and everything in the early and mid-'90s. There was always, like, a bad rap on Luger, but now it seems like people really like him and have come around, or he's come around, and he's very genuine and nice to people.
well, you know what? He wasn't mean to me in 1995.
Right?
And I hope to get the video at some point, but I don't know if I mentioned it on the show, but Ryan Krasdalahala surprised me a few weeks back, and he actually organized a meet and greet between me and Lex Luger that he took care of, and I appreciate that because, I did an autograph signing with Luger a couple years ago, and I sat right across from him, and I wanted to shake his hand and just tell him, like, yeah, hey, you're the first wrestler I ever met, and it was really cool, and you were nice to me, and it meant a lot to me, and I was just nervous, and so Ryan went out of his way to make sure that I met him, and I got to do a virtual meet and greet with him, and I got a signed 8x10, and I got to talk to him about one of my favorite Lex Luger moments, the 1994 Royal Rumble, and I think we talked for about maybe 3 minutes, and maybe if I can get that video, I'll post it exclusively on Patreon. But hey, Luger was nice to me this year. He was nice to me in 1995, so I got no problems with him. But, I am interested in seeing his documentary that's going to be coming out on Peacock very shortly as part
Luger's?
of the that Legends series thing that they've been doing. They just did the one on RVD and everything.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No.
You're way behind. You're not watching anything.
I've never even heard of these things.
That's
I didn't even know there was these A&E documentaries until you came over like 2 weeks after the Stone Cold one aired. Oh, you and somebody were talking about it. You and one of the patrons, I believe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait, what? What?
Yeah, there's a bunch of wrestling documentaries coming out every week.
Why?
On I don't know. It's not like wrestling is like incredibly popular or something right now, or maybe it's popular in comparison to other crap that's happening. But I mean,
Hey, were you ribbing me earlier when you said that you might do Dark Side of the NFL or Dark Side of baseball?
Dark Side of Football. It's a real thing.
Yeah. That's happening, huh? For sure.
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
They did like a trailer for it after the Pillman episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I can't wait to see that.
But not a catchy name though compared to Dark Side of the Ring. I feel like it's better.
It's called Dark Side of the Football.
It's called Dark Side of Football.
It should have been called Dark Side of Foosball.
And didn't really try like Dark Side of the Gridiron or something. Like
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
tried a little bit harder, but whatever.
Dark Side of the Field.
Yeah, it's just
Dark Side of the goalpost.
yeah,
I don't know. Dark Side of the locker room.
right. I don't know.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
so last week was my dad's birthday,
Right.
and you know, I gotta say, my dad and his segments on the show have become some of the, if not the most popular segments on the show.
numbers are through the roof.
Yeah, it's
If you look at the minute by minute breakdown, the 15-minute increments.
yeah. Where are you getting these minute by minute breakdowns?
The sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, people love the interactions with myself and my dad.
Yeah.
And
The
people
quarter
also,
hour ratings are amazing.
people also love investing in Manscaped, a product that we've been
Oh.
helping and promote on the podcast, one of our paid sponsors, and we've messed around with their products, and we do enjoy the Manscaped products. In fact, they just recently sent us not only the Manscaped Weed Whacker
Mm-hmm.
for trimming those unsightly nose and ear hairs, which I thoroughly enjoy, and it's cordless, that doesn't take any batteries. It just charge it up and it's ready to go. Very convenient. Good battery life on that. It has a nice motor. Very quiet. It gets the job done. But they also sent us the brand new Lawnmower 4.0, which is the updated version, obviously, the Lawnmower 3.0. It also has a fancy LED light that you can shut on and off. It has removable blades that you can use, unlike the original 3.0 that we had. And it's just as quiet, it's just as efficient, and it comes in a nice carrying case. Of course, you also get the ball deodorant and the ball toner, which makes your taint and your bits smell good. Very important situation. But I feel like, in some cases, the Lawnmower 4.0 makes people look and go, well, why would I want to invest in the 3.0? Well, I'll tell you, Aaron. I feel that sometimes any type of lawnmower from Manscaped could be the gift that keeps on giving. Why do I say that?
Yeah, why do you say that?
Well, Aaron, I want to take you back to my dad's birthday
Okay.
because I want to tell you
Mm-hmm.
about the gift that I got him. In fact, I'm going to play a recording for you.
Oh.
Are you ready for
Please
this?
do, yes.
All right.
I need some entertainment in my life right now.
Everybody enjoys Manscaped, but my dad, well, we'll see. Here we go. Okay, guys, it's May 19th, 2021. It's my dad's birthday, and I'm about to present him with his birthday present. I'm currently sitting in my car, but that's all about to change, because I'm about to turn off this engine, walk into the house, and give him his gift, and I'm going to keep this recording so you can hear how he reacts to his present. So there might be a little shuffling. This is going to be in my fanny pack recording as all of this goes down. Enjoy. Dad.
Getting there.
What?
But I'm getting there.
Not high. Okay.
Close the door and lock
I'll
everything up.
close it in a second.
Put it down there and I'll wait till you close everything.
I'll
Put it right there.
close it up in a second. I'll close the door in a second.
Why are you putting it in front of me?
Because it's your gift. Well, first read your card. As you see, the envelope is labeled Daddy. I hope you like the card.
I don't know, I didn't open it yet. There better be $1,000 in here.
Well, you're spoiling it. Oh, man.
You couldn't tape the shit to it?
Oh, what? What's the changes falling on the floor?
Oh, big $2.
Where did you go? Hey, $2.06, my friend. Read it for me. What does it say? Well, you didn't even read the front.
Praying for you. Just what I need.
Read it. Read it for me.
It says, Dad, things bring a prayer at God above. Back up. You're too close. Will comfort you with his great love. Amen. May the strength of your belief help guide you through this time of grief.
Get it because it's your birthday.
Yeah, it's a fucking death card.
All right.
You're an asshole.
All right.
I wish you were dead too.
Oh, wow. All right, well, here's your gift. I hope you like it. I put a lot of thought into it, and I want it to be sentimental.
Here, garbage.
I'll throw it out.
Better be a gun so I can shoot you.
What?
But if it's a fanny pack, you can take it home.
It's not a fanny pack.
Yeah,
What's it say?
take it back. I don't want it.
What is it?
Manscaped. I don't want it.
But Dad, look, just check it out.
Nope.
Check it out.
I'll give it to somebody else.
Check it out. Open it up.
Well, give me a minute.
Come on, old man. Listen, look. It comes with a lot of accessories in there. There's ball deodorant. There's
What the fuck is this?
There's ball tone. Well, that's the charger for it.
Looks like it's been used.
Well. So here's the thing. Manscaped.
You could stick this up your ass.
Manscaped was so kind to send me a lawnmower 4.0.
Look at that. That looks like used. I don't want this.
Well, let me finish. Manscaped sent me a 4.0.
You can have that.
So since they sent me the 4.0,
Have that.
I figured that's another accessory. So see that you got the deodorant for your balls.
That ain't gonna happen.
What do you mean? Why don't you put deodorant on your balls?
I shower and use soap.
This is the ball toner which it comes with. Those are the
Ain't gonna
instructions.
happen. That ain't gonna happen.
But see, the great thing about this is
All right. See this?
what? But Dad,
See this?
I'm trying to explain it to you.
See this?
Dad,
I told you it's going backwards
Dad.
because I don't want it.
it comes with a light on it,
I don't give a fuck if it comes with 10 lights on it.
9,000 RPM motor
Here.
on it. But Dad, the best part is, I'm trying to be sentimental here. Manscaped gave me a lawnmower 4.0, so I figured I would give you my lightly used.
Oh, you
3.0.
get the fuck out of here.
What?
Get out of here with that shit. I don't want that. Take that home.
What?
You heard me.
It's yours.
No, I don't want it.
It's only lightly used.
Nope, don't want it. I'm gonna throw it out if you don't fucking take it home.
Dad,
Take it home.
it's for you.
I don't want it.
Please take
No.
it. It's for your birthday.
Nope. Here, empty the contents out. Put it in that bag. I'll take the fucking container.
I emptied most of the hair out of the.
Oh! Take it with you.
What?
I don't want it.
My God! I got it for you.
No, you didn't. You got it for yourself, and you fucking used it, and then you're giving it to me. Get it out of here, you fucking idiot.
But it's
No.
like I thought it would mean more because it's something of mine that I'm giving you,
Let me see that shit.
Dad. It's
You
great.
take it out, or it's going in one of them cans out the front.
Why do you want your? Over
Right there, take it home.
over 70% of mates prefer a shaved man.
Goodbye.
Dad.
I don't want it, asshole. I told you, you get it right back in your face. And it's you.
It's not for your face. It's for your balls.
I told you you'd get that thing back in your face.
What thing?
That shit.
Don't put your thing in my face if you're not going to shave, okay?
Shave my face. That's good enough. Beat it.
What
Get it
about the
gone.
balls and the tape?
Oh, get away from me with that shit.
Come on.
No. You're such a fucking ass. Right in the garbage. That's what
No,
it's
don't
doing.
shave your ass and shave your balls.
Throw it in the garbage.
No, don't. Okay. Hey, no, don't throw it in the... No. Dad, don't walk into the garbage. No.
Take it with you right now. I don't want it in this house.
No, Dad, no. It's for you.
You fucking shit. Fuck you.
No, don't. Give it to me.
Right there.
Whoa.
Don't even bring it back in my house.
Dad. Well, there you have it. I presented him with the lightly used Lawnmower 3.0, and he was not a fan, Aaron.
Oh, man. I
Very
remember when we
disappointing.
talked about doing this several weeks ago, and now it's finally come to fruition.
Yeah.
Wow, that was great.
He didn't like the dick shaver, as he called it.
Yeah, I guess it was that what he said. Did he say?
Yeah,
dick
he
shaver?
mumbled it at the end there.
Yeah.
So
That was
and,
good.
And for those that, because it's obviously not a visual thing, at the end there where he said he was going to throw in the trash, I'm literally walking behind him as he's taking the taking the ball trimmer out to the trash in the front lawn because he doesn't want to throw it out in the house.
Because it's been lightly used.
Yeah. So I mean, it was better than I could have ever asked for and hoped for. So you can get a brand new Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 or the 4.0, and you can get it with 20% off and free shipping over at manscaped.com by using our promo code. And what's the promo code, Aaron?
Pardon?
PARDON. You can save 20% and get free shipping. Manscaped makes great products. And you know what? I just used the 4.0 with the new blades that they've added to it. I used it on my chest. Obviously, I cleaned it from the previous time that I used it on my balls, but I was able to use it on my chest hair because my chest hair gets pretty long. So it's like you can use it for multiple areas, but maybe not
I've
your
been
face.
saying this. I don't know. I can use it on my face.
Come on, man.
What?
You can't do that if you're using it on your balls, though, too.
Why can't I do both?
I don't
They're
know.
mine.
Are you cleaning it well?
Why?
Oh, come on, man. Jesus. Well, look.
And I don't have a sense of smell still, so.
Yeah, I guess. Well, whatever you want to do with the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 or the 4.0 or even the Weed Whacker, you can do what you
You know
might.
what we should do one day?
What?
We should close our eyes and trade lawnmower 4.0s. And just keep going back and forth, and it's almost like a game of Russian roulette. And we just don't know if I'm going to get mine back or if I'm going to end up with yours.
I think a better game would be trading them back and forth, and then once we stop, we then give whatever lawnmower that we have in our hand to my dad.
Yeah, okay.
And see how he reacts to it.
Yeah, he would love that.
So, actually, I'm going to give him a call real quick as a follow-up.
Okay.
To see how that lawnmower is treating him. Hold on. Hey, why do you sound so distraught, Dad?
Because I'm outside in the fucking heat.
I don't know why you have to be distraught about it. It's
What do
getting.
you want?
Well, I just wanted to say hi, man. Is that a crime?
Yeah, because I'm hot.
Well, I'm hot too. You don't hear me bragging about it.
Oh, no. Hi, dumbass.
You're high.
Oh, whatever. I gotta go. What do you need?
Well, I wanted to tell you something before you go.
Make it quick.
When I stopped over a couple days ago, a couple days after your birthday, I know you didn't want it when I gave it to you, the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0, but I took the liberty of hiding it somewhere in your room. So,
It's all right. When I find it, I'm gonna throw the motherfucker in the garbage.
Dad, you can use it. It's fine, but it's hiding somewhere. It's hiding somewhere secretly. Why? No, I love you. Damn it. Okay, well, I couldn't even stop myself from laughing there. I'm sure he knew it was being recorded. You'd think at some point he'd catch on to this whole thing, but whatever. Hey, listen. that's it for the intro of the show. And I guess we're going to go to some commercials. And when we come back, we'll go to the interview with the Bev, Bobby Beverly. How's that sound to you, Aaron?
Sounds good.
If you're in the pro wrestling or entertainment industry, you probably realize how important it is to have merchandise. Not only does it help you when it comes to bringing in additional revenue for yourself, but the look and feel of merch is a representation of the brand you're building. So you definitely don't want it to suck. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, where can I find a reliable and reputable artist that'll make me a solid t-shirt or pin design that'll make me look and feel like a superstar? Well, I've got the answer for you. Of the Dead Designs. Of the Dead Designs is a one-man merch company ran by artist Juan Ortiz. Now his name may not be familiar to you, but his artwork should be, because you've likely seen his designs on TV and Hot Topic, and he's created some of the highest-selling shirt designs in Pro Wrestling Tees history. Of the Dead Designs has created artwork for the biggest names in WWE, AEW, ROH, Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and beyond. I'm talking guys like Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, CM Punk, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Road Warrior, Animal, the Lucha Brothers, Jungle Boy, even yours truly. Now you're probably saying, whoa, I'm not in the league of the Young Bucks or Hulk Hogan, brother. There's no way I can afford artwork from Of the Dead Designs. Well, I'm here to tell you you're wrong, because Of the Dead Designs is affordable. Juan isn't just looking to create art for the superstars of today. He wants to make it for the superstars of tomorrow as well. And look, Of the Dead Designs doesn't just do artwork for wrestlers. He'll create merch for your band, your podcast, your dance troupe, your kids' pee-wee football team, your daughter's school bake sale. Heck, got a girl that you're afraid to talk to, but you stalk on Instagram and like all of her photos at around 2 or 3 a.m. and you've been hoping that she get the hint like, hey, I really like you, but she has yet to slide in your DMs, and now you think, well, I got to take it to the next level, so you get Of the Dead Designs to use a photo of her and her ex-boyfriend as a reference to create artwork, but you replace the ex's face with your face and then present this custom artwork to the chick with hopes that she'll kiss you directly on the lips. Of the Dead Designs will do that for you. With over 14 years of experience and a portfolio of clients that speaks for itself, Of the Dead Designs will make your artwork at a reasonable price. And hey, if you mention this ad, you'll save $10 on your first design. Of the Dead Designs still has spots open for 2020, so you gotta act fast. If you're interested in a design, contact Of the Dead Designs right now on Instagram at ofthedead209, on Facebook at facebook.com/ofthedeaddesigns, or at his website, ofthedead.weebly.com. Of the Dead Designs, bringing artwork to life. We will return to the Iron on Wrestling podcast in just a moment, but I wanted to take a couple minutes of this time to let you guys know that if you didn't realize it already, Iron on Wrestling is a DIY project. That's right, I'm recording all this myself. I'm editing it in-house all by myself. I'm coming up with the segments and the content, and I'm making sure that each and every Wednesday, by investing countless hours of my personal time, you guys have a new, unique, and entertaining episode blasting into your ear holes. So I hope you don't mind that for a few minutes each episode, you have to deal with a little bit of advertising. Because, quite frankly, I gotta pay those bills somehow. But you know, I don't just pick anyone to be an advertiser on the podcast. When I choose an advertiser for the show, I want to make sure that it's someone that can bring you, the listener, value. I often talk about Of the Dead Designs and my good buddy Juan Ortiz, who can create you a unique logo or t-shirt design for your personal brand. But once that t-shirt design is made, who's going to print it for you? Well, that's where Jesse Massey and SBS Printing comes in. Jesse is a good friend of mine, and much like me in this podcast, he's DIY. For over 10 years, Jesse has been printing t-shirts and hoodies in the comfort of his own home, and he's been the official t-shirt printer for guys like myself, Atticus Cogar, Eddie Only, Ricky Shane Page, basically all the 440 guys. My favorite thing about Jesse Massey is the quick turnaround time. When I go to Jesse and I need a shirt design printed right away, I know that he'll have it ready for me within 3 to 5 days, sometimes even quicker. And on top of that, he's affordable. Jesse and SBS can print one color shirt designs for as low as $5. $5. Where are you going to find another deal like that? Now you're probably thinking at a price like that, there's no way these could be quality, long-lasting prints. Wrong. They're super high quality and they're going to last you a lifetime. Jesse and SBS can print you t-shirts, zip-up hoodies, sweaters, and so much more. I encourage you to hit up Jesse right now. Shoot him an email at antisepticmaxrock@gmail.com. That's ANTISEPTIC maxrock@gmail.com. With Jesse Massey and SBS, you're going to get the best. That's no BS. We're sitting at a undisclosed location in New Jersey, and it's me and the Bev, Bobby Beverly.
That's right, baby.
Thank you for doing this.
Hey,
I know
no
you're
problem.
tired. It's been a long weekend.
I'm always tired.
Why are you always tired?
I don't know, man. My life.
Why do you say that? I mean, I know you have a strenuous shoot job. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I'm a hard-working tree man.
Okay.
Well, not so much anymore. I watch hard-working tree men from my truck with the window up and the air conditioning on.
Okay.
But, I still got to get up early.
Well, you're the boss.
I am the boss. The boss man.
Talk to me how you got into that and like what the job looks like, because it involves like a fucking helicopter sometimes. And
I mean, sometimes, yeah. They've cut trees with helicopters. So basically, my whole family coming up was in the tree industry. They call it. My grandfather, my dad, my uncles. At one point, like what we call it like a lot. It's a group of us. Like I guess like just like a construction site or whatever. So like a whole lot was my family. So it was like, this is the family business, which isn't necessarily a great family business because it's just drugs and
it's not good.
real yeah. So I was probably the smartest person in my family ever, just to be honest, So I was like, I'm never gonna do this. Tree work will not happen at all in my life. And then about 2 years into college. A lot of sleeping because I'm always tired. And I was like, oh, man. I was working at a grocery store, and it was awful. Like 6 years at a grocery store, making like $8 an hour.
Yeah.
One time they gave me full-time and benefits, and I was like, well, can I get a raise? And they're like, well, we gave you benefits. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. You're taking money away from me.
Right.
So I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I called up my cousin because my whole family worked there, and got in. And like I said, since I'm the smartest man in the family, I moved up pretty quick, and now I got like 18 guys that work for me. But I get out with them, all the time.
Yeah.
It's hot. We're always out in the woods. Jeans, boots, T-shirts. Like it's definitely a rough job. And then traveling with wrestling, especially like a lot more lately. It's a lot. 2 young kids. But I'm good at the job. And I enjoy wrestling, and generally I only got to work 4 days a week, so I can wrestle through the other 3 days, and I still get plenty of time at home with the family, and I mean, my wife, and she comes to shows, and so it's all right, man. I do what I got to do.
The travel for wrestling, have you missed that? Are there aspects of it that you missed?
Yeah, so I think early we traveled a lot. Together, me, you, Johnny, Matt, a bunch of other guys, Ben Boone. So that was really cool. Like, just when we were young, like I think we all got really close. It was super fun. And then we all kind of went our own way, did our own things. I mean, literally, like all of us just kind of separate, and did our own stuff. So I started my family, kind of stayed more local, and now like back out on the road. I do enjoy it. I mean, it's a lot, takes a lot out of you, but like getting to be with you and Eric and Ricky, like because we've all been so close through the years. it's really cool. You know, it feels good.
Yeah,
you know?
Eric and I talked about it when we podcast last week, and it's sort of strange. And we talked about it on a pretty recent road trip too. I think it was just the three of us. Like, it's weird how life sort of comes full circle, and we did separate for a while, but there was a period of time where, well, I mean, you started training with me and Johnny, which me and Johnny were probably in no position to be training people, but we were very, very early in our careers. But you were just natural when it came to the training.
Yeah, I was fortunate. Pretty much one of the only ones, I think, in training that I had an athletic background. You know, I was a quarterback in high school. I played baseball. So coming up my whole life, you know, I was only, not that you can tell in the way I wrestle, but you know, I was actually pretty athletic.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate that I could watch you guys. You know, I could watch Johnny, and Johnny was really good, and I could learn that way because I wasn't learning from what he was teaching.
Well, yeah.
I mean, no offense.
No.
We were just all too young. And I think that's why a lot of the other guys weren't successful because I don't know. I guess they weren't really. It wasn't able to break it down to them like how to make it work for them.
Yeah.
I was just able to visualize it, and then once I did it, I got it. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, I often attribute my success early on as a wrestler to the fact that not only did, before you were even in training in the Cleveland All-Pro School, a lot of the times it would just be me and Johnny, or me, Johnny, and Matt, or me, Johnny, and Boone and Matt, and we were sort of teaching each other, but I ended up moving in with Johnny, and now I was in a household at all times where, you know, our goals were to just be successful wrestlers, so we could pick each other's brains and sort of learn together at all times. But but for a long period of time, I mean, you were basically like family. You were over the house a lot.
Oh,
do
yeah.
Do you think like spending time with like-minded dudes like that are just fucking consumed with like being successful at wrestling helped you?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, there was probably a few years there where I basically lived there too. You know, like. And yeah, just being around you guys constantly because you're not lying. Your lives have been consumed by wrestling, you know. But I mean, I think you guys have both been very successful, you know. So it's not a bad thing. But you guys were way more consumed with it than me. Like I said, I had a pretty good athletic background. I had a lot of interests. I feel like I was like way more into like the comic books and video games and all that more than any of you guys, and I know like now that Johnny's definitely like into that stuff now, you know what I mean? But back then not as much, you know, not so much. It was always just wrestling, but that was good for me, you know, because I've always had, I think like that's something I probably didn't think about, like when I'm saying like I'm always tired and this and that. I always have so much going on, like so many different things, so many different interests, and it's just like, I don't know, I overwhelm myself sometimes doing stuff. So like, but being with you guys and you guys just being like so like obsessed with that, that was huge, you know, huge for me, especially because like I didn't know a lot about indie wrestling. You know, I was a fan of ECW and Bret Hart, and you know, and that was it, you know. So and Johnny was so big into indie wrestling, you know, that it really opened it up for me. Like I think if I would have trained somewhere else or been with different people, I wouldn't have been exposed to it like I was, and I probably wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Yeah,
you know, for sure.
Well, you know, you mentioned how you have so many other interests like video games and comic books, and obviously, as you mentioned, Johnny is really into the comic book stuff now and the Marvel movies. I'm trying to get more into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm sort of out of the loop. I'm not watching all the films, but I always loved comic books as a kid. But I think once I became a wrestler, it sort of became one-track minded for a while, and I sort of lost sight of the other things that I love. But you having different interests, I feel like that helped keep you well-rounded. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's helped me in my life, just like being a good family guy, a good father. I don't. It's hard to explain because like, I mean, you guys still like it's still so much consumed by wrestling, but I'm fortunate. Like I do have a good job, and wrestling is still does really well for me. But I've got a lot of things like that my kid relates to with me, you know, when it comes to like the comic books and all that stuff. But yeah, I think just having so many interests made me a very well-rounded person. I think it also helps me. Like I feel like if there's one person in a locker room that everybody likes, it's probably me. Like I think I get along with everybody from every level, every promotion, from the big promotions to the smaller promotions. Like I'm just, I don't know, I'm just friends with everyone, and that's probably has something to do with the diversity of all my interests, because I can have something in common with just about everybody, you know.
Yeah.
Even like metal music, it's something I started to fall in love with, and that's kind of like where me and Matt Justice connected down the line, you know. So just, yeah, definitely having all those interests has helped me be really well-rounded in my life for sure.
You have an interesting backstory in general. I mean, I want to cover a little bit of everything. Obviously, once you get to high school, you know, you're a very athletic kid. You were in a lot of athletic endeavors. Video games were a big thing. Comic books were a big thing. But you had an interesting childhood. You grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, and you've told me some ridiculous stories over the years that I've committed to memory because, Bobby, I don't know if you realize this, and this isn't even without referencing Bob Van Dam, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You are one of a kind. So talk to me about growing up in the Youngstown area, what your childhood was like.
So for a while there, when I kind of found myself with wrestling, I did like this, like, you know, kind of like trash gimmick hillbilly, but that's me. Like where I grew up, like, you know, just hardworking people. You know, we didn't have a lot of money. I was exposed to a lot of partying and drinking and I guess drugs and stuff, like at an early age. Like it just was like something normal, you know, that I seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, had some pretty wild experiences, I guess. Shoot, I don't even.
Well, what's your childhood look like? Like, talk to me about your earliest memories growing up, living with your parents, things of that nature.
So, I mean, it was good. It's weird. Like, I'm probably, I would say I had a very interesting life. Well, so my parents were like, my dad was very huge with like making sure. Like, I got straight A's in school and that I was big on my athletic endeavors and all this. But then, you know, he would work 2 days a week, call off. You know, the Wednesday to Sunday, it was like my parents, my aunt and uncle, you know, just partying and hanging out, you know. So it was like, I don't know, I guess like a little bit of both. I mean, we drove like the worst cars you could ever drive. I mean, we had a Chevette that was so rusted out that you could put your feet through the floorboard, you know,
Love
like
that.
the Flintstones, you know. Like,
My dad had a Chevette too, actually.
it was like, I'd be like, Dad, drop me off like on like 3 blocks from the school so I could go walk, because I didn't want to look like an idiot, you know. Because all the schools, it was all political based, you know. So I didn't want to be the poor kid, you know. Like my senior year, we lived in like this shack. Like we had like this apartment. I slept on the couch, and my friends would pick me up for school, and I'd like have them meet me like down the street, like by another house, you know. Like it was just, but all that just made me like, I don't know, a better person. I appreciate the things I have now. And it also made me a wild person, I guess, too.
Yeah, you're out there sometimes. But I think in the best way possible.
Yeah. I if anything, I've had so many experiences and seen so many people ruin their lives that even though I've done some pretty crazy things and had a pretty crazy life, I know my limits, and I know when to pull it back in, or like what line not to cross, that I've always been pretty successful, and I've always taken care of what I have to take care of, even, you know, battling demons and stuff, you know. So
when you talk about being sort of a wild child, what is the craziest story from your childhood that you can tell that maybe you learned something important from?
Oh man. So I don't know if it's the craziest story. I mean, I guess I was still pretty young, but I think I was probably like, you know, maybe fresh out of the house, or, you know, old enough to be fresh out. I wasn't 21, that's for sure. Okay. So my wife now, she's been with me forever. She's experienced it all.
She's a saint.
She is. She's literally held onto my body as we're driving down a highway, and I've got the door open, and I just won't stop throwing up so I don't fall out the car door. You know, like things like that, and then like take me home and take care of me and nurse me back to health. You know. Yeah. But one particular night, we were living with her mom for a while, and So I would drink pretty heavy for a long time, get pretty wild. And I woke up one morning after a long night of drinking on the couch, and I shit my pants.
Why does this not shock me?
Just shit my pants.
Uh-huh.
And the worst part about it was this house we lived in, there was no shower. It was just this really small bathtub. So I had to take like three baths in shit water to clean my ass. Yeah, that was one a life lesson in don't overdo it. Because you don't want to shit yourself. For
sure.
Like if you're shitting yourself, you're probably crossing a line.
Yeah. Now, when you shit yourself this time, were you wearing your good underwear?
No.
Tell the story about your good underwear because once you tell this, I want to just preface by saying, because of your story, later in life, I ended up in a similar situation with my long-term ex. So I want to know about the good underwear.
So I don't know if they were good. I don't know if they were my good underwear.
They're ironically good underwear.
But, I wore this same pair of underwear for wrestling. These these small little bikini underwear for probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I think they were red, if I remember right, and they would just they slowly started deteriorating. Holes in them. I wasn't real good at wiping my ass. So Eric Ryan actually taught me how to wipe my ass.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, he just kind of told me,
Wait, how did this go down? How does he discover that you can't wipe your ass well?
Well, because my good underwear had stains in them. So, as I'm changing, Eric would be like, Bobby, what's wrong? What is that? I'm like, what do you mean? It's my underwear, They're clean, He's like, they're not supposed to be that color. I'm like, what do you so he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I take the paper and I wipe, and then I wipe again, and then I hit it a third time, and then he's like, with the same piece?
Oh, no.
I'm like, well, yeah, you get it once and try to turn it and get it again, and then he's like, no, you just use a different piece every time. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes
no one taught
sense.
you that?
No, nobody taught me that. It was just no one ever taught me how to wipe my ass, man.
God.
I was always, my wife uses a lot of paper.
Yeah.
My mother always used a lot of paper, and
Sure.
it's so I try not to use a lot of paper.
Don't want to be
So
wasteful.
I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be wasteful.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get angry about all the paper being used,
Sure.
So I try to do my due diligence, and yeah. So once he told me, I feel like I'm better now.
Yeah. That's a
I've
positive.
noticed that I don't have as many stains, it seems,
As many. It's still a problem, but not as bad.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hairy ass also, so it's kind of
Okay.
difficult sometimes,
Sure,
to get it all out of there, know. But yeah, so now I take 3, not just individual pieces, but roll them up. I think I'm doing it right, one at a time.
Sure.
Take a swipe, down, take a swipe.
Are you
third
going front to
swipe.
back or back to front?
Well, I come in under, behind, and then I think, front to back.
Okay.
Front to back.
All
yeah.
right.
You're definitely not back to front.
Gotcha.
My wife probably wouldn't like that, But,
So what ended up happening to the good underwear?
They started becoming kind of a thing. It started becoming a thing where, I thought about buying new underwear, but the good underwear were, they were over,
Yeah.
My underwear was more over than me, so I had to wear the underwear,
Sure.
One day we were on a trip, and a buddy of ours was real big on dieting, and he was doing a bodybuilding competition, so he was always packing all this food and healthy stuff, and he had fish or something in his little box, that keeps his stuff cold, whatever you call that.
Sure.
Cooler,
Cooler, that's what they call them.
So I don't remember why or who. Maybe it was Matt Justice. Somebody just told me to put the underwear in the lunchbox.
Okay.
Because we'd always make fun of him, Nicky Valentino, for his eating habits, even though he was doing things the right way.
Yeah.
You know, because we weren't doing things the right way. So
Valentino was 1/3 of sex appeal in PWO.
yes, yeah. So we put it in his box, and what was funny about it is he was complaining about the smell coming from his box. We hit it pretty well. Eventually, he discovered it, obviously, and we had a laugh. But those underwear ended up getting bagged up, and in Matthew Justice's bag, and they ended up traveling to Florida.
Wow.
Down to FCW.
Oh, man. When Matt got signed for a second.
Yep. And then I don't believe they came back. I think they got put in another bag. And I really, from there, don't know where they're at now. Hopefully, they're still traveling in somebody's bag.
I did not know they were traveling underwear.
They
I
are
just
traveling,
thought they ended up
yep.
just eventually
No,
in the garbage.
they are the good traveling underwear.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
At one point in my life, when I was with Mary, I ended up getting a small hole in my underwear, and I knew the good underwear Bobby Beverly story.
Yeah.
And I remember Mary sees a small, like, not a big deal type hole in my underwear, and she goes, "Throw those out. There's a hole in them." I was like, "No, these are my good underwear."
Exactly.
And that became the
right.
bit.
Well, they were my good underwear because they fit well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they were perfect under my. You know, I used to wear trunks.
Right.
So they were just perfect. You know. So that's why they were, to me, my good
Yeah.
underwear. You know.
Well, in this case, it was just now I was going to purposely annoy her with these underwear. So every time I would wear them, I would rip the hole more and more to the point where I'm like my dick is basically hanging out of the side of the underwear. And she's like, "Throw those out." I said, "Mary, I can't. They're my good underwear." That was the bits, but that was inspired by you, so I
love it. That's
appreciate that. So let's kind of go back to you first discovering wrestling. You were a big fan of Bret Hart.
Yep.
Is that your first memories of wrestling, seeing Bret Hart in ECW, or what's your first memories?
Yeah. I mean, I guess like Hulk Hogan, was probably like the first real memory. But Bret Hart was like, that's when I really started religiously watching wrestling. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. I used to hate Shawn Michaels because I like Bret Hart so much, even though Shawn Michaels is the greatest,
What was it about Bret that drew you to him?
He was from Canada. I always wanted to be from Canada because I thought Canadians were better.
Okay. Well, in some aspects, you're probably not wrong.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They, for the most part, I think they have their shit together when it comes to healthcare and gun control. But we're not going to make this a political podcast.
No.
But anyways, so
yes,
Bret Hart.
it was just his attitude, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. I believed it, the glasses and the leather jacket. Like I just thought he was really cool. And the Hart Foundation. When he was a heel, like I was still like thoroughly behind Bret.
In '97.
Yeah, whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not good with years.
When the Hart Foundation was a thing, right? Like I think that was like one of his best runs.
Oh,
And
yes.
his best promos ever were in
Yeah.
'97 as part of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, that was probably his like most actually like entertaining, like all around.
Yeah.
It was really good stuff. But it went from like that. So like I would watch Bret Hart wrestling. Obviously, then I started watching WCW when they had the NWO and all that. But I was always a WWF fan, WWE fan. I'd get like the first hour of WCW, and then I'd flip over to WWE. I don't know. We always for whatever reason, me and my dad, we always said like WWF or WWE was like the young guys, and WCW was the old guys, and
Sure.
we liked the young and the attitude and stuff. But it was like, I guess it was like a little bit more edgier to me. And then that's probably why I really like ECW when I finally discovered ECW. I think what was cool about ECW for me was it was I'm trying to think of the word, kind of like taboo for me, because it was on super late at night. I used to get the pay-per-views. We had this this old black and white TV, and you could play with the knob, and we would steal pay-per-views,
Okay.
so we could watch the movies
Yeah.
and the wrestling matches. You could also like steal porn late at night, like on Cinemax,
Fun times.
Yeah, so to me, like I'm stealing porn, and then I'm also like stealing ECW.
Yeah.
So like it had like this edge to me, like it was cool, it was dirty or something,
Yeah.
And then just so then I fell in love with it and the style and the attitude, and that's really what propelled me to like want to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
I just felt like the crowd, the engagement, everything about it was like, this is what I want to do. And I thought they had a lot of guys to me that were just like normal guys. So it made me feel like I could be a wrestler.
Sure.
And as WWF and WCW, those guys were like giants, at least to me at the time.
Who were your favorites in ECW?
The franchise Shane Douglas, which is weird because when I really started watching it, he wasn't there much longer. Because like when I started watching it, it was literally like tuning in those pay-per-views like on the black and white TV,
Right.
and then he wasn't there much longer because like when they went to TNN, that's when I really, really watched it. That's like my favorite stuff was like the TNN era. I didn't know a lot about the old stuff except for what they told you, because they constantly show you videos and show you all
Right.
this stuff. But definitely Shane Douglas, just his attitude, just the way he carried himself, just being the franchise. I was a big fan of Just Incredible, like during the TNN run for whatever reason. I really like the Impact players, Just Incredible, Lance Storm. I always just like those guys that seem to like almost like those heels that had like this attitude about them or this edge. It's probably why I really like Bret Hart, because like when I really started really getting into it, that's when he was a heel and had his
Sure.
at least a heel in America,
Right.
like, and had his run. So I always like those guys that just were like assholes, and kind of pushed the envelope, I guess.
It's interesting that you mentioned Shane Douglas, because when we were talking on the way home last night, you brought up that you wrestled him like 6 or 7 times,
Yeah.
which I did not realize was a thing. And I mean, I definitely want to delve into training and eventually getting into the ring, but like working with a guy that you watched on TV that you loved so much as a kid, to be able to work with him on a regular basis, that's got to be a wild thing, right? Like, what are some of the some of the things that you've learned from Shane Douglas?
After I initially wrestled him, it was like I could die and be happy. Like
Yeah.
that's how it felt. Like, now like with you guys with 440, like things have been great. I think I'm probably more, at least popular than I've ever been, and probably having better matches than I've ever had. But at that time, I could have retired and been happy, because I don't know. It's like I've heard of a lot of people like meeting their idols or wrestling, somebody that they really looked up to, and it just being disappointing. It wasn't at all for me. I think a lot of it was my confidence, though, because I went out there like the first time I ever wrestled him. He called whatever he was going to do. Pretty basic. Shane Douglas, if you watch his matches, a lot of the same things, which, I mean, that's all wrestlers. But I took control, started just calling stuff on the fly, took him out in the crowd, and he was ready to go. And that was so cool. And then after the match, we just sat down and talked for an hour or so. And, he just, was telling me a lot of good stuff about myself and wrestling, and it was just a really, really great experience.
Yeah.
I could die happy at that moment. It was.
Well, you weren't disappointed in Shane Douglas, and you never got to wrestle Bret Hart. But one of my favorite stories involving you, Bobby, was watching WrestleMania 26, me, you, and Johnny. Take us back to WrestleMania 26 and how excited you were for the return of Bret Hart, and how after watching his confrontation with Vince McMahon, you had to come to a realization of sorts. Take me back to that day.
Yeah, so Bret coming back, I was ecstatic,
Sure.
obviously, because I being such a big fan. And what made it bigger for me was Johnny's fandom for Shawn Michaels, and the rivalry that they had. And I think at that time they probably still disliked each other. I don't think they had, probably buried the hatchet probably at that point. If they did, it would have just happened. So Johnny was always, ripping on me or on, me liking Bret or whatever. So the fact that he was coming back, I was like, yes, this is awesome. this is that moment, like, you know, Johnny's gonna suck it right now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna stick it to him. This is gonna be great.
It was gonna be redemption for Brett.
Yeah, early in the day, they literally teased like Brett's gear laying out, and I just remember that. And I remember the moment I seen it, I was like, no way.
On WWE.com.
Yes, yep.
Yep, I remember that because I was pumped.
Brett's gonna be geared up. He's gonna be in shape. This is the comeback, you know. Like, I can't freaking wait. And Johnny's just like, no. And I'm like, no, man, the gear, it's all happening. And then he walked out in Bugle Boys or whatever it was, you know.
Bugle Boys. The jorts, man.
Jorts, yeah, like straight up, almost to the ankles jorts.
Yeah.
And I was just like immediately deflated. Like, oh, what is this? You know, why are you even teasing me, you know? But I still had hope, you know. I was like, all right, that's okay. You know, he can still do this thing. This will be great. And as the match went on, like my mindset just kept deteriorating, you know. Like I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good, and I'm getting, you know, back at Johnny and you, and I'm like, you know, watch and see. And then as it goes on, it's just like, oh, it's just getting worse and worse.
It got awkward.
Worse. And it gets to a point where, like, I don't even think I'm the only one not talking anymore. We're all just in shock of, like, what's happening. Me especially.
Well, because they teased the finish like a couple times.
Yes.
But then Brett kept beating his ass with a chair to the point where I felt bad for Vince, the heel.
Yep, 100%. And finally at the end, you know, Johnny's just sticking it to me, you know, and it was just it was just, at the time, it was one of the most depressing moments, you know.
But you didn't show it right off the bat, because
No,
after the match was over, you're like, that wasn't that bad.
It was fine, yeah.
That wasn't that bad.
It was all right. And I was like, no. And then finally, it just snapped. And I was like, you know what? It was fucking terrible. It's fucking bullshit. They teased the fucking gear. They did this. It was fucking awful.
Oh man.
Oh,
so good.
I think, was Josh Prohibition there too for that?
He might have, because Josh came over for a couple WrestleManias.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
specifically he came over for 24.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you were around for that one.
Oh man, I didn't want to think about it now. It just defeats me.
I had to bring that up. But before we talk about entering wrestling, there's because I feel like there's so much about you outside of wrestling that people don't know. Because again, you're a character. You mentioned on a recent road trip that at one point you tried to start a pop music band, a boy band.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you became a pretty successful wrestler, but take me down this path and this idea of starting a boy band.
Well, so back in the day, at one point, they called me White Chocolate.
Of course they did.
I was just a smooth man, you know.
Yeah.
White Chocolate 86 at AOL.com. You know, that was my screen name. And
your AIM name.
My AIM, yeah.
Okay.
And I loved on the down low, you know, like boy bands and stuff.
Sure.
I thought that stuff was cool, you know, like these guys are getting all the ladies and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So me and my brother, who I actually met when I was like 14 years old. That's
another ridiculous story.
Yeah, he was 16, and his mom took off with him, and we didn't know where he lived, and I dated this girl that then dated him, and we were friends. And she's like, they're so similar. And I was like, yeah, you know, we're like real similar. And then I was like, wait. And I was like, what's his name again? You know, even though we were friends, like his full name. And I was like, oh, wait, that's my brother. This is weird. Because I knew I had a brother. He didn't. My dad always told me, you know, because like they took off. My dad didn't know where he was. And then I told him, and, you know, that's just another like wild thing in my life that happened.
So ridiculous.
But yeah, me and my brother and this other kid, like we decided to start a boy band. We would go, I don't know why, we were, you know, probably 16 years old, 17. We would go to the elementary school and go behind the elementary school and practice, you know, like choreography and singing. I would spray myself with water, like in the mirror, and you know, have a unbuttoned shirt and work on moves.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever got far enough to getting a name. I think we realized pretty fast that we weren't very good, but it was a legit option at one moment, maybe, you know, for a short time.
You think it was a legit option?
in our brains it was a legit
Okay,
option.
yeah.
Like, it was never gonna happen, but like in our minds there was maybe a 2-week period where we were like, yeah, I think we could be a boy band for sure. Like we could do this, like 100%, like all day.
Can you hit us with some bars?
Oh man, I don't. I can't remember anything specific that we actually did, but it would have been something like, baby, you're looking so lovely, baby, something like that.
I love it. I love it.
That was fly for sure.
That's good. That's so fucking absurd. All right, so you want to be a pro wrestler.
Yep.
How do you find out about the Pwo School? What brings you out to Cleveland, Ohio to train, which is about an hour from your house?
Being an athlete and a fan of sports, I'm a big Cleveland sports fan, like huge Cleveland sports fan. So I'd watch the Indians, and then I found out about a wrestling show, and the internet was still pretty it still wasn't like what it is now. So I tried to search around, look for schools, and I think I even got some there was a school in California that sent me a pamphlet I can't remember what it was. I sent it out. It was, I don't know if it was Crash Holly or somebody's school or something.
You think you still have that pamphlet?
I don't know. Maybe somewhere.
That's interesting.
Probably not. I don't keep a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I lose a lot of shit. So I don't know. I just kind of searched around, and it was something I always wanted to do, but I always felt like I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know that it would even be possible. Because I didn't even know about independent wrestling and stuff. I actually before I started wrestling, I joined the Air Force at a high school after I decided I didn't like college, and it wasn't anything I was good at it. It was boring to me. College was boring. So then I was going to join the Air Force, and my dad was real against it. He thought I would just get killed in action or something, and didn't want me to do it. So after months and months in their program, getting ready to ship out the basic training, I finally backed out. They wouldn't give me a job and stuff, so I wasn't real sure about it. So I'm if I'm not sure about it, I don't want to give up 4 years of my life. But my excuse when I backed out was I told my dad, I was look, if I'm gonna back out, I'm gonna go wrestling. I'm gonna try wrestling training. And he was so adamant about me not going that he was finally 100% in. I'm okay, yeah, do wrestling training, So then, like I said, just watching wrestling on TV, and then we had Sports Time Ohio. I think Cleveland All Pro was probably on at the time. I think I actually watched Johnny Gargano match when he because like I said, Canada. I always thought Canada was better. I think he wore a zip-up jacket with the Canadian flag or something stupid on it.
Yeah, he had this thing where he would wear all the different flags on his pants, and he had a Canadian jacket. I think he definitely had a Japan jacket.
Yeah, I guess
places
he
had not gone to at the
No,
time.
never, no, not at all. So I didn't get it. I mean, I guess I get why. He's trying to be well-rounded or something,
Yeah.
But it was weird. But I think that was my first thing I ever seen was him coming out doing some weird stupid dance and this jacket with the Canadian flag. I'm who's this guy,
Yeah.
And then I looked it up online and I found the school, and kind of went from there. And if it wasn't for my wife, I probably wouldn't even be wrestling because she would drive me to training. And then sleep in the car while we were training, and she would do it every single time. And
That's crazy.
I didn't have a
remember
good
that.
car. My first car, I paid $300 for. It barely got down the road. I didn't have money. So she would bring me, and so it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even be a wrestler.
Yeah.
At all. But
when Sarah didn't bring you to training, you often showed up with a young man by the name of Benny Kearns.
yeah.
Tell me how you meet Benny Kearns and how he comes to training, because you and I both know that he probably should not have been training and that it was incredibly unsafe.
Yeah, so Benny Kearns lived in my area, the same town. I honestly don't remember how we met. I feel like maybe he just sent me a message online or something. I really don't know. Maybe on my MySpace, maybe I had a wrestler in my top 5 or something, and he's seen that at the time, and messaged me, I believe, and I was oh, okay. I needed a ride to training, so I was I was like, heck yeah, man! You can wrestle. Like, let's do it. Like, I know the school. Like, you'll be great.
Sure.
When I met the kid initially, I was like, this will never be good. But I needed a ride, so
Right.
so I brought him up, and this kid would take a bump, and it would look like he had a seizure or a stroke. His eyes would bulge out of his head. He was probably 90 pounds.
Yeah.
A really nice kid.
Great kid, yeah. But I remember every time he would bump, he would like start blinking his eyes rapidly,
Yes.
and Johnny and I would look at each other. We'd look at you, and we'd be like, "Are you okay, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah.
And he would get up, and he's fine.
I think he had a heart condition or something too,
Which he did not
So he
tell
should not
us.
have been
Yeah.
training, at all.
Yeah.
We had some really interesting training partners, I guess.
A lot
back
of
in those
misfits.
times. Yeah, a lot of.
But
yes.
again, like that's why Johnny and I were thrust into a position where we were trying to train people when we were like 2 or 3 years in, and now when we see kids 2 or 3 years in that are like bragging about running a
Yes.
school, because we didn't go around bragging, we just
No.
kind of did it. We're always just like, oh fuck,
Well,
I
I
don't
remember
know anything.
I was thrown into wrestling at like 5 months or something.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. I looked like crap. I had no idea what I wanted to do. You can watch the tribute video on YouTube.
I like how
made.
you're plugging it.
Well, no, it's awful, but
Yeah, but that was you in the beginning years.
It was
trying to find yourself.
It is kind of cool to look back and watch it and see like how far I've come. It's crazy like how wrestling is now, because I feel like kids come out of schools and they don't look like we did. Like a lot of them come out and they're better, and their gear is better. It was just like back then the thing. It was like you come out of school and you had some real basic shit, or you wore a singlet or some pleather pants. Like it was just the way of the world.
It was hard to find good gear
It was.
and reputable guys to make gear.
Yeah.
It still kind of is, but it's like more reasonable now.
Yeah, because I think we were at like the beginning of I guess like the boom of independent wrestling. Because I know like as a kid, there wasn't much independent wrestling. Like there'd be a couple shows and they'd have some legends, and then they'd have these couple local guys that did all the local shows, and they always ran decently, like decent venues and stuff, and wrestling was popular, so people would come even if the shows weren't good.
Yeah.
I don't remember there being like 6 promotions in one city and all these like different kids like wrestling. I think I could be wrong, but I feel like that kind of started with us, and then as wrestling started to evolve, especially with like Ring of Honor and stuff, and like the style and it becoming more like athletic, I think it's just continued to get bigger and bigger, and now it's so much easier for these kids to find somebody to make gear, to make affordable gear, to get better training, and to just come out of schools a little bit more prepared than we were.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. The tribute video you alluded to was something that I created while I was unemployed and had nothing better to do, and you were spending the night over the house.
Yes.
Like you did very often. And what is your favorite tribute video on the internet?
So, my favorite tribute video on the internet is a Tiger Mask Dynamite Kid video. And what angered me so much about that tribute video that you made was you guys knew how much I loved this video.
Yeah.
And you guys were not a fan of this tribute video.
I didn't have a problem with it.
It was just, I loved it so much that I constantly played it, that it was probably just like, stop playing this, you know?
Right.
and the fact that like you guys were always like, oh, kind of like down on, like, turn that off, you know, like, you know, or stop watching that, or like, oh, this is the best, you know, like, and so then the one day it's like you guys like start to play the video and you pause and you're like Bobby, come here, and I like run down the stairs like in excitement, like they're in, like we're gonna watch this together, they love it now, like this is it. And as my video begins to play, all of a sudden it cuts into the Bobby Beverly tribute video, and just, I hate you.
So the Bobby Beverly tribute video.
I remember
is actually,
like running it with so much enjoyment, like from the upstairs down, or I was in the bathroom. I don't know. I just remember having like this smile on my face, like they're playing my video, here I come, and then ruined.
It's basically the opposite of tribute, because it's just pretty much all the embarrassing moments of your early days. Now, at this point, you were closer to finding yourself, but you're still finding yourself.
Yeah.
But in this video, this is very experimental, Bobby. So which brings me to one of my favorite parts of the Bev, figuring out who you were.
Yes.
When you start, your outfit is sort of reminiscent of MVP.
Yeah.
So it's like the shorts, but also the top with the long sleeves, and that was something that you talked about in training. Like, yo, I think this is my look.
Yep.
And then the next show, it's like pleather shorts with a star.
Yep.
And at the time, you're teaming with Ben Boone.
And then I cut the star out and put it on long tights.
Yes.
And went to boots. And then I did it with kick pads.
Yes.
And it just kind of evolved from there.
But the names that you were coming up with is what adds the allure to this video. Like,
Yeah.
so when you were doing the MVP thing, you're Montel Vontavious Beverly.
Right, which was not to
That,
me.
that wasn't a name that you pitched. But let's talk about some of the names you actually pitched
Okay.
that may or may not have made this video.
Okay.
At one point, and we've talked about it often on the show, we all know that there is currently, well, I don't know where he is right now, but there's currently a Mr. RBI.
Yes.
But you wanted to be RBI before.
I was the original RBI.
What was your name going to be?
Robert Beverly Incorporated.
That was
So
going to be your name.
Robert Roode had just became Bobby Roode had became Robert Roode, and no, I did become Robert Beverly Incorporated. There was a brief time of shows where I wore a suit jacket and carried a briefcase, and I was RBI, Robert Beverly Incorporated.
Why a briefcase? What was it?
Nothing. I was just,
Well, you're a businessman, so
I was
you have
a
to carry a
businessman,
briefcase.
exactly.
It's like when I started doing the podcast, I got a laptop. I would carry around my laptop in a case around Ricky.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, man, look at me and my laptop. I'm a businessman. He's like, just because you have a fucking case for your laptop doesn't make you a businessman.
Exactly. Suit jacket and a,
So
briefcase.
RBI was something you actually did. But
Yep.
another gimmick that you often talked about was Bob Van Dam.
So Bob Van Dam was blown out of proportion. I was a huge fan of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I still am. Lionheart's probably my favorite movie ever.
Great movie.
Which, not to get off subject, but when Eric Ryan lit the man on
I
fire.
was hoping you were talking about this.
I'm out there. You can't see me in the video, but I seconded him out there. And I was kind of staying away. And as soon as the man went up in fire, I was like, I'm going to get a little bit further away. Well, when he initially runs at the wall towards the people, I'm in the crowd behind that. What they don't show is that he gets up again and then runs towards me.
Yeah.
At the time in my head, all I'm thinking is I got kids, and I take off running full sprint away from this man. So like people are chasing him, trying to help him, and I'm like, I am out.
Right.
But what's funny about it to me is, and I could be like not, because someone could probably go watch the movie and be like, no, that's wrong. But at least in my memory, in my head, like in Lionheart at the beginning, Jean-Claude Van Damme's brother gets killed, and I believe at least in my head, they set him on fire.
Yeah.
and Jean-Claude Van Damme, his name's Leon, the lion, and he's on fire, and he's just yelling, Leon, Leon. He actually yells it in the hospital at one point while he's all burned, Leon. Sure. So all I can imagine is I got kids, I'm running, and I just keep thinking this man on fire yelling, Leon, and just heading out the building, and his whole body going up in flames. Yeah. So, not to get, too far off the subject
No,
there.
I think that was a very important story to tell.
But yeah, Bob Van Dam, huge Jean-Claude Van Damme fan, and then, RVD.
Sure.
So I just kind of, I think in my head that I started that one as a joke, and you guys just kind of kept rolling with Bob Van Dam. But there's definitely a few there that I did truly believe in, like Tiger King Ultra.
I was going to say Tiger King Ultra.
I was a big fan of Tiger Mask, especially the original Tiger Mask. So in my head, I was like, man, I could suit up in a full body suit with a tiger mask, and I could be Tiger King Ultra. Mm-hmm. I thought that would be great.
Sure.
Los Romeos was another one.
That might be my favorite.
I'm gonna do Los Romeos one day. Me and Eric Ryan are gonna do it.
Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna make him do it. So Los Romeos, our whole thing was gonna be we would wear masks with sewn on. Roses, like fake roses sewn into the mouths.
Yeah.
And then, full body suits, something, frilly shirt or something. And the whole idea would be behind it was, I'll just go into it. So it was going to be, we are Los Romeos, and we love the women.
Okay, round of applause from the guys.
Yep.
Yep, they're into it.
But we also love the man. So we were going to be bisexual luchadors. And I still think we can get that over to this day. So Effie, if you're ever listening to this, at the next Big Gay Brunch, we're going to debut Los Romeos. It's going to happen.
Where do you come up with big bisexual luchadors?
I don't know. It's just how my brain works, man. Like,
Oh, God.
when I was a kid, I never backyard wrestled. I bedroom wrestled. Okay. So I had like a Hulk Hogan, which you probably had it too, like the Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a Sting. I think maybe like Ted DiBiase, and I think my cousin had like Macho King or something. So a lot of times it was just me and my cousin, and we would wrestle the wrestling buddies or each other until the point where we were like beating each other up and crying, and then our parents would be downstairs drinking and smoking weed, and they'd be like, "What are you doing?" And then we'd be up there, like wiping tears off each other's face and stuff. Like, "You look good. You look good. Am I good?" Like, "Yeah, we're good." And then we go downstairs. I'm like, "What? And what's up?" They'd be like, "You guys up there fighting and wrestling again?" I'm like, "No, we're good. Don't worry about it." So yeah, bedroom wrestling, the Hardcore Wrestling Federation. Which I've been like in my head, I keep thinking about. I bought a wrestling ring and I want to run a promotion one day, and I try to come up with these cool names. And I like sludge music, so like I've talked to Matt Justice, like Sludge Pro or something, just because we like that stuff.
Sure.
But lately I've just been like, you know what? I'm bringing it back, bro. HWF. I'm doing it. Like I'm gonna bring all my yarder gimmicks back. Like I was Rob Steele. The real deal was Sex Appeal. Rob fucking Steele.
Wow.
They actually called me Rob Steele in high school. Because of that.
I love that.
They called me Doc Johnson also in high school. Because I was a pitcher on the baseball team and I wore glasses, so I had a coach that would call me the doctor.
Okay.
Like I'm out there performing surgery on these kids, with the baseball.
Sure.
And in high school, at prom or a homecoming, White Chocolate came out, and I was, grinding pretty heavily on a date or whatever. And they caught it on film for like the yearbook.
Okay.
So from there, when everybody's seen it, then they started calling me Doc Johnson. So I was Rob Steele, Doc Johnson. But Rob Steele was me. That was my main guy. I had the Bunkhouse Boys, Billy and Bobby, because sometimes I was Bobby Bunkhouse. Bobby Bunkhouse was like, imagine Buff Bagwell, more country, overalls.
Okay.
And then Billy was Bubba Ray Dudley, basically, And they fought the Benjamins, the rich guys.
Oh, okay. I love it.
So one day HWF's going to come back as a real thing, and I think I'm just going to do it. I'm sure there's multiple HWFs out there now, but
yeah,
just going to just do it.
I believe in you. Well, so you talk about all these characters that you came up with. Actually, you didn't even tell us how you came up with Beverly.
So laziness, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, my name's Bob Smith. So
and I'm Greg Smith.
Yep. There's a lot of Smiths in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're like a little fraternity.
Sure.
Well, not really at all, but yeah. So when I started initially training, I had another kid that come up with me, probably maybe a couple weeks or something, if that. We were friends from the same area. And in my head, like, I was just like, oh, like there's the Briscoes, and there used to be Briscoes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, we'll be the Beverly Boys, with a Z.
Of course.
From Beverly Hills, California,
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, so just laziness. Like, I'll be Bobby Beverly, and I forget what he was going to be, like Justin Beverly or something. And it just ended up from like day one. I think I brought it up because I think one thing you probably know about me and anybody is I'm like an open book. Like I don't care to tell anybody like what I've done, dumb shit that I've done or things that I do, or whether it's was alcohol, drugs, dumb shit I've done, like just in life. I'm just open about everything, willing to talk about it. Shit doesn't bother me. So right away I was like, yeah, Bobby Beverly, man, Beverly Boys. And then he quit like 2 weeks later.
Yep.
And the name had already stuck, Bobby Beverly, and I hate it. I still don't think it's a good name.
It works.
The Bev just kind of I am the Bev, I guess, and
You are
it
the
slowly evolved into the Bev. And I'm probably more so just the Bev now than Bobby Beverly. But it's really just stuck. I remember like a couple months ago or a few months ago, I was on a show, and Tom Lawler's like, "The Bev is the worst nickname ever." I was like, "Yeah, I know, man. Like, but it's me, so
Right.
like, it's not even really a nickname. It's just me. So, like, I can't avoid it. You know, like, I am the Bev now. Like, my kid knows me as like Bev. You know, like everybody.
That's so
you know,
weird.
It's wild. My wife always gets mad because I'm like, I am the Bev, and she's like, stop it. Like, you're not. You're Bobby. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You know I'm the Bev. You know,
Right.
I've always been the Bev.
Sure.
And she'd be like, she gets mad, like, you know, the Bev. You better put the Bev away and shit. You know. And
Okay.
like, you know.
Well, you know, I really think you're the total package now, and I feel like you found a way to become an open book in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're your realist persona now.
Yeah.
But when do you feel like you really started coming into your own as a performer?
When I was almost down and out. I hit a really rough patch in my life, probably right before like my first kid was born, so like 7 years ago. I got really out of shape. I was definitely battling some demons, doing stuff I really shouldn't be doing, and it started taking a toll on me. And I got to a point where I wasn't confident in myself at all, because I was, because like right before that, I was getting a pretty good push with like AIW. We did like the Nixon thing, whether like you know like it or not, and I was having like big matches, and trying to be elevated, and then I just like let it all fall apart. And then I was so unconfident in myself that I like basically unbooked myself from like shows, because I was like, I can't compete at this level. I'm not comfortable being here. So I just basically got myself unbooked, and then I stuck around with some local promotions. Local wrestler, The Bouncer, in Youngstown area. To his credit, like, he brought me in and immediately like elevated me to like his top spot, and I'll always be grateful to him for that, because it was like a time when I was about done, but that's when I stopped caring about like trying to be something else in the ring or trying to do too much, because me, you, and Johnny were really close. You know, sometimes I get like just, you know, a little like sad or upset sometimes because we don't, like, me and him don't even really like talk at all, and we were really, really tight, you know, for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
It's just how life happens, and you know, you go different ways, and things happen.
Well, I just want you to know he like thinks about you and talks about you a lot, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, you know.
But Johnny's never been like a text guy or a call guy.
100%.
You know?
And I know that even when we were all friends, like, you know, we were probably his best friends, and he wouldn't even put us in his top 5 on MySpace, that bastard, you know.
I forgot all about that. That was a real battle.
Because we weren't big time wrestlers, you know.
Son of a bitch, yeah.
Asshole.
Well, that's his thing. It's like if he puts you in the top 8, then you have the power.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he has to have the power at all
Right,
times.
right.
Very controlling man.
but back to wrestling.
Yeah.
For the Bouncer and stuff, I stopped trying to be other people. You know, for a while, Johnny was really good. He's one of the best, if not the best, on the planet. So, and he was my trainer and my friend. So I tried to do a lot of things that he did. You know, and we're not the same type of wrestler. And I listened to a lot of other people who tried to like direct me and like doing this or doing that, and I just never was me, like who I wanted to be. Like I was always gonna be just this tough, badass brawler type guy, you know, coming out to some country music or metal music or something, like not giving a fuck, like just whipping ass and wrestling well, and I just never did it. So when I was finally like down and out and didn't care anymore, that's when I was like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna have fun. And fortunately, I was given that platform at the one promotion, and I really, even though I was probably in the worst shape of my life, I found myself, I guess. Like, I finally became who I wanted to become, and because that like is an era where like it was a couple years, and then I came back and started wrestling for AIW and some other places, and I would see wrestlers and they'd be like, oh, you haven't wrestled in a couple years, or I haven't seen you, you know, and it's like, I've still been wrestling, man. I never quit. Like, I've always been going, you know. It was just at a level where nobody knew that, or you know, there was nothing even reported, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like to where anyone would even know I was wrestling. But it was great because I just finally became who I always should have been, and stopped caring about everybody's opinion. And now I took that and ran with it, and got fortunate to wrestle some bigger promotions and then get with like on some IWTV stuff. And because of that, and you know, them giving me that opportunity and me not giving up and becoming myself, I started to I ran into Ricky a few times, and he seen that I was still going and things like that. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think he would have ever even thought to, you know, call me one day and ask about joining 440. And now, like, it's funny because, you know, I don't hold it against anybody. You know, a lot of guys are on the road a lot. There's a lot of shows. But, like, I've seen guys now who, like, I've seen them multiple times in the past 3-4 years, and now they, like, recognize that I'm on the show. Like,
yeah.
You know, I've had guys introduce themselves to me 10 times, and it's like, I've seen you, like, in the last few years, but, like, I wasn't important enough, so they didn't pay attention. Even promoters are, like, now paying attention. Like, I'm not doing anything different. Like, still wrestling the way I started wrestling, you know, 5-6 years ago or whatever. I've wrestled for promoters now that I used to wrestle for that, like, still doing me, and they're like, oh, it's so good, but they weren't watching it before, you know.
Right.
So, but it's, you know, it's awesome. You know, it's great that things are going really well. And now I've got, like, so, like, when I was down and out and I kind of found myself, I still never had something that really pushed me or motivated me still, but this has. And now I feel like I'm getting back to a point where, like, I'm getting in good shape again. I'm probably going to end up hopefully, like, in the best shape of my life, just feeling better about everything. And, you know, I think hopefully have, like, the best run that I could possibly ever have, you know, going forward now for at least the next couple of years, I hope, you know.
I think so. I think you're on the right track. And, like, listen, I know you've had your down moments, but I think I speak for all the guys from 440 and someone like Johnny when I say, like, you know, we always believed in you. And we would kind of get sad when you weren't around as much because we knew the potential of you, but we also knew you had other shit going on. And obviously one of those things became having your children. Talk to me about how having kids changed you.
I mean, it just made me – I think I've always been a really good person, but it made me an even better person. I think anybody – that's probably another reason why, like, I've gotten along with everybody and probably friends with everybody, because I think if people would ask you or other guys, like, who's, like, one of the best dudes you know, I think most people would say me. Like, I'm the most honest person. I would never lie to anybody, never, you know, do anybody wrong, you know what I mean? But then having my kids made me just, like, even better. Like, those little missteps that I would take and those little things where I would push things too far or, you know, take my life down a destructive path, like, that's not there anymore at all, you know, like, and you guys probably can even see it because, like, you know me from the past and, like, the wild stories, and we'll have to sit down one time and I'll have to think about a lot of those stories because there's a lot, you know, it's just hard to, like, off the top of my head right now.
For sure.
But you guys can probably even see it, like I don't go out and try to party or anything. Like, I wrestle, I enjoy it, and then I want to get home and see my kids. You know, like, the first thing I think about when I'm leaving is I can't wait to get back and see my kids. You know, I still love wrestling. I'm going to give it my all and enjoy being on the road. But, like, as soon as I'm gone, I can't wait to be back home and see them. You know, and I just had a daughter a year and a half ago, and that's
she's adorable.
It's like amazing. Like, I love my son to death, but it's like I feel like now I gotta, like, protect her, or, like, he's a boy and I'll teach him things and he can take care of himself, but, like, I gotta, like, take care of this girl. And and my wife, Sarah, she's the best mother, best partner. She's put up with me for years. I've become a better person in those years, and I think a better fiance, husband, boyfriend, whatever, because we're not actually married, but throughout those times, and she's just, if it wasn't for her, I probably would be dead and not here for sure, you know. So,
well, listen, I'm glad you're here, and I want to wrap up shortly, but before we do, one thing I want to touch on, because we had Eric on last week, is the Young Studs. I feel like you were a very different tag team when you guys started together. You were doing the sex appeal thing at the same time in PWO, so it was sort of a more It was white chocolate, Bobby Beverly, I guess, in
Yeah,
PWO
right.
and AIW form, and you're a lot more grinding and gyrating. But then when you kind of sort of left that hiatus in the more prominent promotions and you came back, I said this to Eric and I've said it to you personally, when you guys came back and you're wearing the flannels and shit, like, you guys were just pure ass beaters.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I love this shit.
Yeah,
I was so pumped to see you guys back together. Talk to me about the chemistry with you and Eric and why it just works.
I think because we're both so similar. Like if you look at the young studs and what they were, two like pretty boys, Eric with long hair and me all tanned up and bright colors, like that was never us. And I think we like, even though we didn't know that at the time, like we both kind of probably still knew that. We were like what we are now and like just beating ass and being who we are, like I think we were always kind of that, so we clicked right away, but that's what's great about it is like the young studs and what like how we were when we started, and now we've both evolved to like what we are, and we've basically evolved the same exact way. Like we're very similar, and it's wild to like be like these two young kids who just wanted to get over and be successful and do whatever we could. So we're these little pretty boys that we're not. And then for both of us to kind of follow a sort of similar path where we evolve into who we truly are, these badass dudes. That's probably why like it just works. We don't overthink anything. We just do what we would do and try. And I think it just makes sense. To just be who you are and do what you would do. Like I wouldn't duck 3 times and hit you with a Hurricane Rana. I would just punch you once, and Eric's the same way, and like so it just works, and it's so cool that like we were both, like I said, these young studs, and we both kind of evolved almost in the same time, the same years, and into who we are now, which is really it's cool, it's neat. Yeah.
What's your favorite Eric Ryan story?
Oh man. I don't know. Eric's a wild man.
He really is. He's low key. He's sort of quiet.
Yeah.
But he's fucking wild.
It's hard to pinpoint one story. Just him being him, just being wild, being crazy, not giving a care for his body or his well-being. Like, I don't know. I mean, him lighting a man's dick on fire is pretty good. That's pretty recent, but it's pretty good, man. I don't know. Just Eric being Eric,
Well, listen, we've talked for over an hour now. I want to wrap things up. There's so much we didn't even touch on, but I want to sort of do a rapid fire thing real quick. You cool with that?
Yep.
Who do you think is your best opponent or match?
Probably, it's hard to, because I'd have to go through like eras, but definitely there was a point where me and Johnny wouldn't even have to call anything. You could just go out and wrestle. And then me and you in those days too, our chemistry was really good. And now I'm like trying to do more death matches, and it seems like me and like Orenvite really click. But yeah, that's a hard one to just go rapid through, because I'd have to kind of go through the eras of my career. But I guess it's just a few, top of my head.
I always loved our chemistry together.
Yeah.
And I look back fondly on it. Some of my best matches this day were with you. You know what I mean? So I love those matches. What aspect of pro wrestling did you struggle to grasp the most when you started training, like psychology-wise?
I think just how to make things make sense. I don't know. I've always, like I said, I always thought of myself as a smart person, very educated. So just like the little things like that make sense, and like how you do it, and like and why you do it, I guess, something like that, I guess.
Yeah. No, I got you. Where's the weirdest place you've ever wrestled?
In prison.
Yep.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Eating a banana from Matt Justice's dick in a prison yard in front of a bunch of felons. Yeah. That was fun.
We did a lot of those.
Yeah. Wow.
Not a lot of banana eating, but a lot of
a lot of
shows.
Prison shows. Yeah.
Do you remember the story that you originally told behind your XXX tattoos when you got them?
Yeah. So I went straight edge for like 2 weeks. So I went and got a tattoo because I thought it was a cool thing to do.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, oh, that was dumb. So then people would ask me, well, oh, you're straight edge. I'm like, clearly no. They're like, well, what? And I'm like, oh, I just like porn, man.
What is do you have a hidden talent?
No, man, I don't think so. I'm pretty open and out there. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything people wouldn't know. No.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, probably the Dark Knight, like the whole trilogy. I'm a huge comic book fan, huge Batman fan. So yeah, it's a pretty basic one, but the Dark Knight.
Batman going to be your
trilogy.
favorite comic too?
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Yeah, I love Batman.
Love it. Do you prefer? Well, obviously you picked the Dark Knight, but what do you feel? How do you feel about the 1989 Batman?
I really like that one and Batman Returns. As a kid, I loved Batman Forever, but as I look back now, like once Tim Burton kind of lost the reins to it, definitely didn't go down probably the best path. But.
Yeah, I remember loving Batman Forever as a kid, but then
Yep.
looking back, it was like,
Yeah,
it's kind of
it was like my favorite one. But
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
I was Two-Faced for that Halloween.
Yeah,
Like, that's how
I was
into it
Riddler
I
once for Halloween. So
Love it. It's a
Yep.
Smith thing, you
Yeah,
know. That
yep.
must be what it is. If you could fight one person in real life with no repercussions, who would it be?
One person in real life with no repercussions.
Yeah.
I'm not that like angry of a person. I don't know that I like hate anyone that much, but I guess at one point in my life, I mean, I might as well just say it. What's he gonna do? I really hated Trick Davis.
Why? I don't know.
I just thought he was an asshole. Like he was Johnny's friend, and I was probably, it was probably just me, being me. But yeah, I would have fought him for sure.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your weirdest locker room moment?
Oh man, I can't even really talk about him.
That's
I've been drunk and done some really dumb stuff. My wiener's been out a few times in the
Okay.
past. Yeah, we probably shouldn't get into it.
no. You know what? We won't. I can ask you a million things, but I'll cut it short. I really appreciate your time and you
hell
taking the
yeah,
time
man.
to talk with me. It's been incredible traveling with you again.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm loving the 440 stuff. I'm
Yep.
glad you're a part of it. Before we go, though, it's a question I ask everybody at the end of the podcast. What inspires you? What keeps you going, both in wrestling and in life?
I mean, now, like, obviously my kids, I mean, I know it's like a cliche answer, but my kids for sure inspire me. I don't know. I guess myself, I inspire, like, myself. I've always been the person, like, I'm not, like, a big religious person or, like, I don't know. I've always just believed in myself. I didn't have money as a kid. I didn't, I was raised right, but I didn't have a lot of cool stuff and like the best upbringing. So I just always bet on myself, not to like pat myself on the back, but yeah, myself and my kids, I guess,
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I bet on the Bev. All right, I'll bet on the Bev every
Hell
time.
yeah.
I appreciate your time, and more importantly, I thank you for your friendship.
Yeah. No, thank
All right,
you,
man.
buddy.
We'll have another talk soon, and thanks.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
That was the interview with the Bev, Bobby Beverly. We thank him for being on the program, and I'm hoping that I get to do something a little extra with Bobby for Patreon this week, patreon.com/irononwrestling. Hopefully that comes to fruition, and if not, we're going to have a buttload of other bonus content over there. But speaking of butts, Aaron...
Wait, what's this?
Aaron, it's time for some stupid Tiger Driver guy trivia.
What?
Brought to you by Juan of the Ortiz.
Oh my gosh. I've always dreamed of being on this show.
Okay, Aaron,
Yes.
for one correct answer,
What's that mean?
at what stage in the Bev's life did he learn to wipe his own ass properly?
Oh gosh, I know this one. Okay, hold on. How much time do I get?
10 seconds.
Okay. Can I use a lifeline?
No. 3, 2, 1.
Well, it's obvious. Man can't go through his whole life not knowing how to wipe his hiney. So, obviously he was a child. He was an infant. He's the Bev. He was just born. I think he learned as soon as he exited womb.
Incorrect. Wait, what? You thought he was wiping his ass out of the womb?
He's the Bev.
Okay. The correct answer is as an adult man, he learned from Eric Ryan to properly wipe his ass.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, maybe you should go back and listen to it because it was my favorite part of the interview.
I think I'm going to go back.
I feel like you should. Bobby Beverly is an interesting character. I feel like we delved pretty deep into some of the more important aspects of who Bobby is. And I feel like I just used the term ass specs after talking about Bobby's ass and his lack of ass wiping ability.
Yeah.
So, also this week, I just want to point out that on our road trip home, Bobby was taking a nap, and before he went to go take a nap, and this, if you didn't get an idea of who Bobby is from that interview, this will sort of help too. He says random things at random times that just out of context makes it more hilarious than it needs to be. And so he said, Greg, if you look over and I have a road boner while I'm sleeping, just ignore it, okay? And I was like, okay, well, I didn't plan on looking over, seeing if you had a boner, but all right. And then Ricky said, well, you know why road boners happen? If you read about it, I guess it's because of the vibration of the car does something to stimulate the anus, and then you get a boner, which I didn't know was a thing. And so then Bobby sat up. He's like, okay, I'm getting a road boner right now. And he said, great, take a picture of this. And I was like, oh, okay. And so he pulled up his shorts, and so I had to take a picture of his road boner. And he said, got to send this to my girlfriend. And so then I was like, okay. And then, but then I took a video, and he didn't realize it. This is the audio from that video. Hold on, I'm going to pull up this audio right now.
Zooming in.
Hurry up, bro. It's going down. That is Bobby Beverly. Yes, we are. That is Bobby Beverly in a nutshell.
I like what you did there.
Yeah. So hopefully we can have him back on the show. Hopefully we can do some bonus stuff for Patreon. And if his beautiful companion Sarah's listening, Bobby does love you, and everything he does is for you, and all he does is talk about you. So you got a good guy, and you are his guardian angel. You have kept Bobby alive.
Yeah.
And also, I really hope that you weren't doing anything near his rectal area during the time in his life where he did not know how to wipe, because that makes you even more of a saint if you were. So.
They've probably been together since before he knew how to wipe.
Oh, boy.
They've been together for a long time.
They have.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, they were together before he met Eric Ryan, so oof.
The legend of the Bev
continues
to grow, just like his road boner.
All right, well, hey, that's it for this edition of Iron on Wrestling. Come back again next week when we'll have another interesting episode. Until then, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating if you think that we deserve it, which I feel like we do. Helps create visibility for the podcast. Of course, sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/irononwrestling. As of this recording, we are 3 subscribers away from 69, okay? This is a goal that we've been working towards for a long time. $3 will give you a subscription to the Patreon. You get a buttload of bonus content. Do you want to be number 69? Well, you have the potential to do so if you sign up for the Patreon right now, patreon.com/irononwrestling. It's worth the investment for all the content that we offer for $3. And, of course, you can follow me on social media at Gregory Iron on Twitter, at Gregory_Iron on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. Of course, you can DM me on any of those platforms for bookings via that or my email, Gregory_Iron@yahoo.com. I could do pro wrestling seminars, motivational speaking engagements via Zoom or in person. And, of course, if you want to buy a t-shirt, you can get them at prowrestlingtees.com/Gregory Iron, where you can get my shirts Aaron's got a shirt there. For a limited time, we have a Rod Destiny shirt, which you can buy there. I'll be taking it down after July 4th. It's very patriotic, so get yours before July 4th or else it's gone. I'm also on Cameo. Book me for your Cameo shout-outs for birthday, wedding, bar mitzvah, graduation, whatever's happening. I'll give you a shout-out. Hit me up. Aaron, what would you like to plug?
I'm at Fair to Air on Twitter. I'm at Fair to Aaron on Instagram.
All right, that's it. And until next week, I bid you farewell. And here is a sweet, sweet kiss. Goodbye.
Rest in peace, Grandma.
Activate your hips and push your ass up. You got a homie wanting it so bad, about to pass up. Wanna dig you, and I can even lie about it, baby. Just alleviate your clothes, time to fly about it. Get you with the club, but shit, you got me feeling body talking shit to me that I can't comprehend the meaning. Now if you wanna roll with me, then here's your chance. Doing 80 on the freeway, police catch me if you can. Forgive me, I'm a rider, still I'm just a simple man. All I want is money, fuck the fame, I'm a simple man. Mr. International, play with the passport, just like Aladdin, bitch. Get you anything you ask for, it's either him or me. Champagne, Hennessy, a favorite of my homies when we cross on our enemies. Witness as we creep to a low speed. People wanna hold me, puff some more weed, funk you don't need. Approaching hoochies with the passion, been a long day, but I've been driven by attraction in a strong way. Your body is banging, baby, I love the way you flaunt it. Time to give it to daddy sugar, now tell me how you want it. How do you want it?